Yo.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in three, two, one.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi. Welcome again to this Baxter and the Rest saga. We are here again, gathered here to actually give you what we can. When we feel like something is of importance, we are going to discuss it so that you don't get lost somewhere along the line. So this is Mr. Anonymous. Please subscribe and like our videos as usual. And thank you again for those who have been engaging and communicating and giving us any feedback that you can. And also interacting with the rest of the subscribers. If you are not a subscriber, then what are you waiting for? Unless then you are not still convinced that we are going to deliver as much as we can, then you can wait. We are not forcing you, but please, for those who are forgetting, subscribe and like the video. Emily, let us hit the ground and run.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. And to those who are celebrating Freedom Day, happy Freedom Day. It's a new day today.
Yeah.
So yes, and we are here for more updates on what is happening with the Thabo saga. And like I said before, everything is new. Every day, new information, and things just keep getting more and more complicated. But this is one of those videos where we will be updating you on maybe some of the information you can expect as soon as the trial begins. You know, some of this information will be definitely discussed in court. So Dr. Nandipha tried to smudge her fingerprints. Now this exclusive came from News 24. Apparently she was trying to mess up
with
her
the
fingerprints, like
yes.
really smearing it and rubbing it so that it becomes blurry and unclear. When she claimed Katlego bearing Mpolo's body from a Bloemfontein hospital just days before Thabo Besta's prison escape. But authorities still managed to confirm her identity, and those smudged but discernible, now discernible meaning that they were able to be seen or recognized, those fingerprints would prove pivotal to the state finally being able to identify the body of the 32-year-old father, whose fingerprints were also captured on the form that Magudumana used to claim his body.
Okay. Now, just for those who still believe there's hope, and the rest of the people that are following this, if you believe that there was indeed a forceful way of doing things, someone who's forced is not capable of thinking for the future most of the time. They think for now to solve the problem for now. The issue I have is that you were thinking for option 2. Then I'm going to say there's option 1. Option 1 is that you create the escape is done, no one follows up, no one catches you. That's it. It's successful. You have pulled a master class. Second option is option 2 is when if you get caught, if you are capable of closing those loopholes again, as usual, I mean, that's someone who's well thought, someone who's capable of thinking of now and the future, someone who's thinking that I could get caught. And if that happens, it must be that it is difficult for the people that will be investigating me to investigate me easily without any problem, such as small thing as fingerprints. You are going to try to make sure that they are not clear, and if it's possible, get something different. And in fact, even try to add other people's fingerprints on your fingerprints if you are capable of doing that. It would be very interesting if you did that as a doctor. I mean, it would be very, very, very difficult. But in this case, unfortunately, you went in with your fingers, as it is alleged now that they were able to actually classify you and be able to identify that these are your fingers. So think about that. That is someone probably who at some point is going to argue that my life was in danger. Which can exonerate you, by the way, depending on how and which lawyer you have, and if you have a solid case in that. but you are capable of even deceiving further in case then you get caught. So it was the main issue here is that you were not looking to get it over and done with and say, I'm protecting whatever that I'm protecting that I think is in danger. I just have to do this thing. So I'm not going to be thinking about making sure that the fingerprints are not clear. I will do everything according to the book, right? But in this case, it's not the case. Someone thinks for safe. In case
we get caught.
Yeah. Let's continue.
While Home Affairs was able to provide law enforcement with Bereng Mpolo's name after receiving those fingerprints, the police also trawled through missing dockets to establish whether he was likely to be the person found in Beste's cell. After discovering that Bereng Mpolo had been reported missing in May 2022, the police asked his mother for a blood sample and then finally were able to confirm his identity. So that claiming with the smudged fingerprints is what led them to identifying the body. This is the first time that she's claiming the body, allegedly.
It's round one. Round one is, remember, if we remove the guide, if we remove the person who allegedly was helping with this escape from GS4S, if we remove that person, there is absolutely no link between Nandipha and the deceased.
And Katlego. So Katlego's Bereng's family were able to view his body at the Free State Morgue on Wednesday afternoon. And I'm sure for those of you who have seen the footage from the news publications, it was very emotional. Action SA said that Bereng's mother even collapsed and was taken to hospital. So that's how the state was very traumatizing. The state that they had to view him in. And information apparently given by police to Action SA on Thabo Beste's escape suggests that Beste's partner, Nandipha Makudumana, may have collected the same body, that of Katlego Bereng, from the same morgue twice. So Action SA Free State Chairperson Patricia Kopani confirmed on Tuesday that criminal charges have been laid in relation to the death of Bereng, the man whose body was burned and was believed to be or have been found in Beste's prison cell. So Bereng's father, Batho Mpolo, was assisted by Action SA. Mpolo is a member of Action SA, and to lay charges at Park Road Police Station in Bloemfontein against the Free State Department of Health for contravening the National Health Act in the handling of Bereng's body. Mpolo also plans to take legal action against the Department of Correctional Services and G4S. Bereng went missing in March 2022, and a missing persons case was opened in May 2022, according to the family. So the family did not receive any updates on the investigation until 2 weeks ago, when Bereng's mother was asked for DNA samples. So Mpolo and Action SA delegates were engaged in meetings with the police in Bloemfontein throughout the day on Tuesday, seeking clarity on how Bereng ended up in Beste's cell. So Kopani updated Ground Up on Tuesday afternoon about what they were told by the police. She said it seems Bereng was found unconscious and picked up by an ambulance.
There's a very interesting thing here. This person is lost in the March 2022.
Yes.
And then he was picked up by the ambulance. When?
They don't state.
They don't state.
When.
You see, it's very funny that important things are being left out here, and for those who are following Senzo's case, it is almost similar. Important things, date are important.
Dates
because
are very
dates
important.
are going to help us to establish how long this person was held, if he was held, or how long this person was roaming around without going back home and whatnot. But in this case, we know that it's March. And then when he was found, we don't know. But we know, again, that the body was actually taken to hospital to prison when?
On the 29th of
Of
April
April.
2022. That's when the TV stand, the van or the bakkie that had the TV stand got into Mangaung Correctional Facility.
Continue.
So his blood pressure was low when the ambulance picked him up, and he passed on in the ambulance before reaching National Hospital in Bloemfontein. Now, the theory that they gave to Action SA is that he passed on in the ambulance. What happened to that theory of him having passed on in the hospital?
And I need you to get into that, because the first thing that you have to look at is that should this person have been declared at the hospital that he passed away, the story changes, because firstly, he would need to be kept in their morgue, and then from there, be taken from their morgue according to family, whatever that they choose to take the body with, and then take it to the state morgue, right? So in this case,
We don't have a paper trail from
now
the
the paper
hospital.
trail
It's
is
not
sort
even
of
needed.
dying. Yeah, it's sort of
going away.
moving away in a sense, because this person passed away now on the way to hospital, and then in that case, this is the process. In that case, the state, which is the hospital, can transport the body to the general morgue, right?
The state morgue.
The state
yes.
morgue, right? That's it. Now there is not gonna be that paper or autopsy or anything of that matter
From the
that
hospital.
needs to be done. So the hospital that is exonerated in a sense, which is a now totally different story.
And that's not what they told the family. They told the family that he went to the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah. According to Kopani, Bering's body was taken to the Free State morgue as an unidentified person, and the body was claimed by Besta's partner, Dr. Nandipha. Please note, this is the first time that Dr. Nandipha is claiming Katlego Bering's body from the state morgue.
This is in a sense
where the
one of the
fingerprint-
bodies that were claimed.
So this is the first version. So allegedly, Dr. Nandipha claimed the body of Katlego Bereng before it was taken to Mangaung Correctional Facility to be burned so that what's his name again? Besta can escape.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first time.
Then there is no link. Let's say there is no link between these people. Nandipha does not know this guy unless the guard knows this guy. And in this case, the guard indeed was grooving with this guy, was having nice life with this guy. So Nandipha wouldn't have known what happened to this guy, right? Unless then the guy was kind of involved to say, this is what you're going to say when you're claiming, right? Then another thing is Nandipha wouldn't have been able to claim this body if he was not related to this body. Then that begs the question of how did they register this body from the States, in a sense, from the ambulance that took this body? How did they register this body when they were putting it on a public morgue? Unless then they use one of Thabo Baxter's name, then which therefore then Nandipha would be able to claim.
Please note, guys, that this is before they escape. This is before. This first claiming is before the cell 35 burning, before the escape. So here's Nandipha claiming Katlego's body.
Right.
So here's another weird thing and another weird twist. So Action SA had a meeting with the police and they told them all of this, right? Now Ground Up was unable to confirm Kopani's version of events because the local and national spokespeople for the SA Police Service or SAPS declined to comment to Ground Up. Why are they declining to comment? This is serious.
Because Ground Up has been on them. Been on the police, has been on...
They should have confirmed or denied what Kopani said. That was simple. Why couldn't they do it?
Because that puts them in a very, very, very delicate situation where they might end up... the best way of telling a story that is a fiction is to not expand a lot on it. Just expand enough so that you can be able to cover yourself. I'm not saying that is the case. In this case, we are still to see what exactly is going to unfold. But once you find resistance in these cases, then you must know that something might be cooking.
So no dates have been provided for when Bereng passed on, when his body was taken to the morgue, or when the body was supposedly collected by Dr. Nandipha before being smuggled into Mangaung Correctional Center. No dates.
We will find definitely, I think, the date of the collection. Why? Because that probably was recorded.
So Mpolo and Action SA are demanding to see the medical report from the paramedics who drove Bereng to the hospital and Bereng's death certificate. They're also demanding an investigation into how Bereng's body was released to Dr. Nandipha when she was not his spouse. How was his body released the first time without her being the spouse or having any relation to him?
And a very nice thing to actually consider is, where did they collect the body? Where did they collect the body? Maybe we might have CCTV there.
It would be nice.
Very nice of this man collapsing. To see.
It would be great.
To relive the event so that we can understand.
Now, after Bester faked his death in the cell fire, the burnt body, thought to be Bester's at the time, was taken to the Free State mortuary, where a postmortem found that the person was dead before the fire broke out from a head injury. Now, we have spoken about it. We have elaborated with what we saw on the postmortem that Ground Up published, that the body was said to have passed on 2 days prior, you know?
And then there's a sort of a 2 days difference.
Yes,
between
the
the body that was taken. Now the question, if they could estimate as far as 2 days back, let's add even one. Even if we add one and say that the difference was that the error of estimation was one, that would literally say that the deceased was still alive when he was transported to prison.
Allegedly.
It would be an allegation, obviously, based on their estimation. And this is obviously based on their estimation.
So it is unclear how Bereng sustained the injury. Another inconsistency is that Bereng's family describe him as tall, but according to the post-mortem report, the body in the cell was only 145 centimeters, which indicates a very short person. A forensic pathologist has, however, previously explained to Ground Up that it is possible that the height could have been incorrectly estimated, especially since the body was in a fetal position. Now,
you
fetal
see,
position.
what I like about estimations, Emily, as you show us fetus position, basically it's like a baby that is not born in that position.
Yes.
What I like about estimations, you always are able to escape because it's an estimation. You didn't measure that thing. So when you estimate, you take a sample and you use that sample. So in this case, it's a person who's folding their body and their arm, everything is just sort of squashed together. And then in your own estimation, you are trying to actually straighten that thing without touching it into that position. So again, we can forgive them in that case, because that's a very difficult situation about estimations, and you are you can be hardly held accountable that much when you are estimating.
Now, what we must ask ourselves is how the body ended up in a fetal position.
Then that talks to the box, the TV box.
The TV stand.
TV stand. If you were squashed there, because it's not that tall or long, for a body to sit in a normal position. A TV stand can be as big as it gets, but not that much. Do Do you understand? So for you to put a person there, you need to squeeze that person. And most probably, it would be easier to squeeze a person who is not yet gone, who has not yet passed. Like, can you imagine someone passed away a long time? Like
I've heard from people that work in the morgue that it's not so easy to change the position of a person who's passed on if it had been a while. So you can't just twist their positions. You can't just bend them. It's very difficult because
unless then a person was conscious, and which is translating to a person still alive.
Because I've even seen with, like, that's why when they say when someone is passed on and their mouth is open, you must close
it, even the eyes.
Even the eyes. So because it becomes difficult after a couple of time has passed.
So those are the things that you need to look at and think of. And obviously, we are sitting here. There's nothing we know.
We are not experts.
We're not experts, and I'm sure here there are experts of these things.
Yes.
We are just narrating the story.
You can comment down below and help us out. Sisonke. Sisonke in this thing.
Which would explain why the estimation is also taking that direction of estimating the height, because the person is already gone and it's been a while, maybe difficult to actually see the real size.
And provided that it burned.
Yeah.
So 2 days after the fire, Dr. Nandipha collected the body from Free State Mortuary again and took it to a mortuary in Soweto. Remember, we've talked about this before, Super Funerals. It seems bizarre that Magudumana would have been able to collect the same body from the same morgue twice.
Not unless they use two different names.
It's possible that she collected the body from the hospital morgue the first time around. So this is all estimations and allegations at this point, but it's quite interesting that she was able to pull that one off. Remember, guys, in summary, for those who maybe lost at this point of the video, Dr. Nandipha claimed Katlego's body the first time before the incident happened in Mangaung Correctional Facility, where there was a fire and Thabo escaped, and then she claimed it again after the fire, because now it was assumed, or it was thought to be Thabo Beste. So she claimed Katlego Bering's body twice.
Yes. Oh, well, there are many things that are not possible, but they were possible with this. And obviously with the cooperation, then a lot of things can be possible, because people are the reason why we enforce any law for that matter. And if people have accepted that we are going to partake in a certain direction, you cannot stand in their way. Then law is people, in a sense. It's not law. There is no law without people. So with people willing to adhere, then you have law that is sounding. But if people are not willing to adhere, then you have law that is not law.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
So SAPS has previously confirmed that Magudumana claimed 3 bodies from the Free State Mortuary, the third of which was the one found in Besta's cell. So remember the other body that was found in the river.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Ground Up attempted to visit the mortuary, but security staff turned Ground Up away, and the Free State Health Department refused to comment. So, yeah.
Everyone is going to start refusing to comment, because who can comment in this Nsuman, in this complicated situation that we are going through? It's a movie and you don't want to be part of it. You want to play the background supporting actor type of a thing without talking, and it's better that way.
Now we have a second theory, Mr. Anonymous, of what might have possibly happened. And according to Newsroom Africa and Karen McGowan, I believe she reports for News 24 as well.
Yeah.
Katlego may have possibly been targeted by Dr. Nandipha and the people she was working with. One of the most horrifying and disturbing aspects of this case is that allegedly it is the state's belief that while the bodies were being claimed, whereon the body was abandoned in the river, because one body was abandoned in the river as a dry run for the ultimate escape, there was a potential targeting of Katlego Bereng because he was the same age. Besta was around 33 at the time and Bereng was 31. There also seems to be evidence shown by Ground Up that he had a connection with a prison guard. And the prison guard, according to Ground Up, is in Nohamatswara. You know, that they knew each other and that they drank at the same tavern. There's even a picture that Ground Up shared of the tavern where they would drink at. So, and also from the parliament hearing, G4S and Integratron, a security company, has handed in a statement from an interpreter who was present with the CCTV operator, Mr. Dipolo. So for guys who don't remember who Mr. Dipolo is, he was the one who was operating the CCTV camera at the night of the incident or the escape. And also he's implicated around the cameras not operating as they should, wherein they failed to capture Thabo Beste walking out of the prison.
Yeah.
And also he also had a prior conviction, apparently, and also other details surrounding him is that he handed himself over to the police. So he wasn't hunted.
And you've got to believe and expect, in a sense, that that person is willing to sing.
He handed himself over to the police. That night where they discovered the porch in the other province, he was handing himself over at the police in Bloemfontein. So when Mr. Dipolo, when he went and did a polygraph test, so apparently he did a polygraph test with G4S and Integratron while they were investigating this matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So a polygraph test is AKA a lie detector test.
Yeah.
And had attested to the fact that Mr. Dipolo had spoken about some kind of kidnapping and the fact that 2 prison guards would be responsible for bringing the dead body. These issues are the issues that need to be ventilated in a court process. That's what Karen was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, and all of this information is coming from her because she's been investigating this story.
Yes.
So Mr. Bereng died of unnatural causes, and he had a hairline fracture on the right side of his temple. So apparently the cause of death was a blunt force trauma to the head, and that was what caused his demise.
Meaning that if then the theory of falling, then that means he fell with his face.
And it hit right here.
That would be if that theory,
If the theory
is anything
of
to
falling.
go by. Unless then, of course, it's a face-on fight and then hit in closer to your forehead, and then, which is a different story that we would assume and allege that it could actually be on a card. We're just saying because you need to open up for anything that you might hear
In the court.
in the court.
So-
We're not sure of any. We don't have any information about that. But
will
we
wait.
know now that, as I was asking, very interestingly, it is someone, if it was a hitting, it is someone then who probably was facing, or we don't know. We would like to know that. If he fell with his face, was the face wounded, or it was just specifically at that point where he fell and hit the head. That was it. No scratches on the face, mouth, anything, no tooth out, nothing. Very interesting, because then that means then that would be, I think, a different fall, that where someone just fall and nothing else get hurt.
And the fact that it was more to the hairline, because you'd expect it to be more.
Yes, I'm
here
thinking.
as you fall.
Your physics would have to
But
actually
to the
pull the
hairline.
feet of that person facing almost acute to the sky, in a sense, hitting, and then you turn. I don't know.
So Karen McGowan also said that they spoke to a pathologist who said that he had received Katlego received medical attention after suffering that injury. He may have survived it, and it's very clear and evident that he was struck on the head, and that is what ended his life.
And that is not us saying that. We are just taking.
It's what Karen was saying. It's not us, guys. It was Karen was saying on Newsroom Africa in the interview. Okay, so all these facts together have led the state to believe that there was a deliberate and successful attempt to unalive him as a decoy body for that escape plot, according to Karen McGowan and Newsroom Africa. It's not us, guys.
And then we'll still ask, where does then that leave the father? Well, we will be told as the case unfolds.
So in summary of this video, if you've managed to stay with us for this long, there's two theories. The theory is that of the police, that he collapsed, taken by an ambulance and then taken to the morgue because he passed on in the ambulance. There's another theory that there's a possibility that he may have been kidnapped. May his soul rest
in peace. Guys, tell us what you think. Tell us how you view this. Is it giving you any hope? Maybe that it is going to be different situation compared to Senzo's case and other cases that are going cold. Or does this seem like something of a deja vu? And you have been seeing these things now, just that now the names have changed, and that's what we would like to know. And tell us exactly what is your opinion. And everything said here, if we didn't say it's alleged, it is alleged.
Just know that is alleged. Everything on this video is alleged.
Thank you very much. Again. Bye.
Bye.